she's been traveling and not flies you know.
Hello, my name is Rúnar Rúnarsson and I'm the director of an Icelandic-Danish-Croatian co-production called Sparrows. It's a coming-of-age story and a father and son story that takes place in the remote part of Iceland called the Westfjords, that is far up north. Yeah, I started making short films when I was 16 years old, and sometimes it's looked upon as to the short film as they are a practicing ground for the feature film, which they are in one way or the other, but they are as well individual form within the cinema. If you compare it to literature, it's like a poem or a short story. But and I think it's highly important for all filmmakers to make as many short films as they can, to be able to, if they get the chance to make a feature film, to be prepared, because it's a little bit like football. You don't wait until the World Cup and then you start playing football. You have to kick a ball and play football all your life to be able to maybe to be selected and etc. And it's important for every filmmaker's career as well to build up your name within the short film world. That's a way of getting a recognition, so the people that can decide your fate, whether or not you get a national or international funding to your film, then then you have to have a name card. You have to prove that you have been able to portray a story within 15 minutes. You have no purpose of doing a film in 90 minutes if you can't cope with 15 minutes. And it's a really good form for national film funds to invest in talent, to build up a talent. I've been making short films since I was 16, and at a certain point I'm not comparing myself to Picasso, but painters, they go through phases that they do a certain things, that there's a certain way of how I tell stories. And I have a big crew around me, people that I work again and again with, so we have a certain way of portraying our emotions and tell our stories. One way or the other, all films are about self-discovery. It's about, all films are in a way coming-of-age stories, even though it's a 45-year-old cop in Brooklyn, or the main character in most films grows and gets wiser, realizes something and has to take a decision. So more or less all storylines are quite similar in a way. But I guess we, as a creative force behind these films that you mentioned, we have our fingerprint, how we tell stories. I've seen a lot of films, so something must stick. But since I think 2003 or something like that, all my films have either be about the younger generation or the older generation. That includes my short films as well. So these people in their crossroads in their lives, whether young adults stepping into adulthood or the older generation taking the last step, or the last step is in front of them, has been an ongoing theme in my films for quite some years now. And there is, for the older generation, there is some kind of dramatic weight that really intrigues me. I studied film in Denmark, and I lived in Denmark for 8 or 9 years. So I was doing short films there as well. In a way, most stories are more or less global. We all know about love, or first love, and loss, and all these all these topics are universal. But what gives a film identity is where it takes place. So, of course, I'm raised in Iceland, and I know my mountains, and they have. I try not to use only the mountains. I don't try to use them at all as a decorative thing. I always try to have a saying why they are there, and more or less everything that is in frame should be there for a reason. So like in this film, we use it in different ways. We use the main character is trapped in a way, in a situation that he doesn't want to be in the beginning of the film, and we use the skyline of the mountains to isolate him. We use the sizes of the mountains as well to show how small the human is. The mountains themselves, they have this soft layer of grass, but there are hard rocks sticking out as well. So there's a contrast just within the mountains themselves, how they present themselves. I'm raised on film. I studied on film, and before I went to school, I worked. Then everybody was shooting on films. I think in film. I think in texture. And I think it's beautiful as well. I like the grain. I shoot on Super 16. And especially in this world that we live in now, where there are iPhones with and flat screens, and everything is broadcasted in high definition in the telly. Everything is so over sharp, and I really like the softness of the format, the texture, how the light is being captured in a completely different way. And I guess if I was a painter, then I would be painting with oil instead of acryl, or however to put it. It's as well more of an emotional format, and that's suits my stories.